Hello, this is Ron Gerber, CEO of AngelBeat. I'm so excited that Kimberly Kelly, the solutions lead at Google Cloud for marketing and data analytics, is our featured speaker. Kimberly has a wealth of experience in helping organizations of all sizes with their data, and most importantly, helping organizations take full advantage of the tremendous computing and application development resources that Google can provide you. So instead of employees worrying about how do I consolidate data, how do I compare data from multiple sources, structured versus unstructured data, Kimberly is going to share with us great insights on how you, as a data analytics expert, as someone in IT, as someone even in sales and marketing trying to move your organization forward, how you can spend your time on strategically important tasks and not mundane data entry activities. So without any further ado, Kimberly, I'm going to turn it over to you, and we look forward to having people attend a live AngelBeat event in the hopefully near future, but in the meantime, getting insights on Google Cloud's data analytics capabilities can definitely move your business ahead. Kimberly, it's all yours.
Great. Thank you so much, Ron, and thank you very much for the introduction. As Ron had mentioned today, I will be talking a little bit about Google Cloud, specifically around how to unlock real-time insights with BigQuery. And I will kick it off first with some really interesting stats and why this is important, because according to Gartner, approaching information and data as an asset is still in the early phases, which really makes it a competitive advantage for organizations that invest in things like digital transformation. And data and analytics are the key accelerators for an organization, especially if data increases exponentially at our current pace, which is, over 2.5 quintillion bytes of data are created each day, and it's only getting bigger, which is a study that Forbes did in May of 2018. Yet, despite this all being the case, data analytics remains truly untapped. There was a study done of Fortune 1000 companies, which is run by New Vantage Partners, and they found that 69% of companies report that they have not created a data-driven organization, and 71% report that they've not yet forged a data culture, both of which are necessary in order to catalyze a digital transformation that will ensure not only the future success of your organization, but also the satisfaction of customers. The question is kind of like, why is this happening and why is it such a challenge? And it falls within a few, different buckets, and, maybe your organization is feeling this, maybe you're feeling it at your organization, but I can guarantee you're not alone. Because almost all data analytics leaders, we know what the challenge, they're faced with many different challenges, from scaling infrastructure, it's really difficult, to finding the right talent, to have a data-driven culture, to improving costs, and ultimately managing the growing expectation to deliver valuable insights. So it's difficult to make these business-critical, challenges overnight, which is why we recommend that companies adopt a long-term approach that really fosters a data-driven culture. And what we're doing is we're simplifying data analytics through each of the pillars you see in front of you. Starting with serverless analytics, so allowing customers to keep their focus purely on analytics versus infrastructure, as well as a comprehensive set of data analytics, workloads, from data warehousing to streaming to business intelligence. So we're letting customers operationalize machine learning, which is truly critical, because embedding ML and in everything you do will really accelerate your time to value and your time to insight. And we're enabling, the best open source technology so that you have the flexibility of your choice, and ultimately to help you build at scale and build at any scale of an enterprise. So to dig a little bit deeper into what that comprehensive platform looks like, right in front of you is really what we're covering and how we cover the analytics value chain, from ingest to process to store to advanced analytics. So if you look at the left, you have Cloud's PubSub as an example, which is a scaled messaging platform. You also have data transfer service, which is how you easily pipe in data from things like ad data, your marketing data, into the cloud. And then you have the ability to stream and batch processing with single programming models using things like data flow, which you see under the reliable streaming data section. Then you also have access to things like data prep, which is a fully managed Hadoop, as well as Spark platform. And things like data prep, which makes the lives of an analyst very easy, because now you can do data prep using visual tools. And then BigQuery, which is our enterprise scale data warehouse, which is a fully managed enterprise data warehouse. And then as you move towards the right, you also have Google Cloud Storage, which is your data lake for structured and unstructured data. And then Cloud ML Engine and TensorFlow for machine learning on top of data that you put on BigQuery, also known as BQ, and Google Cloud Storage, also known as GCS. And then you have things like Data Studio and Sheets, which helps you run all of your analysis. And through our serverless big data analytics solution, which is BigQuery, we really are eliminating the need of systems engineering from a data analytics workflow, so that your teams can focus 100% on data analysis. So if you look at the left-hand side, it's really where a lot of traditional big data analytics has fallen in terms of workloads. And now what we're doing is we're providing you with the ways to just focus on getting the insights that you need and letting a fully managed platform take care of the rest. So by doing so, we're taking it a step further. So I'm going to break down kind of what we mean by not just modernization, flexibility, and having a more responsive kind of business team with Stream Analytics, but also go into a little bit about how we're breaking down those silos and protecting and governing your data at scale. The first is through modernization, so things like BI and BQ. We'll look at the increased flexibility of Hadoop and Spark. And then, using things like data flow and PubSub, so you can build more responsive businesses with Stream Analytics. And then breaking down silos with things like Cloud Data Fusion and automated data transfer services. So let's take a look at modernization, around your data warehouse and make intelligence actionable. The first is really using BigQuery ML, which enables data scientists and data analysts to build and deploy machine learning models on massive data sets directly inside BigQuery using familiar SQL. And BigQuery ML has expanded functionality to address even more business needs. So new models are available, like k-means clustering, to build customer segmentations, matrix factorization to build product recommendations. And customers can also now, build and directly import TensorFlow deep neural network models, through BigQML. And the next here is how we accelerate data explosion and insights with BigQuery BI Engine, which allows for super fast reporting with automatic performance tuning and capacity flexibility. And it's like, if you look at this, it's offering sub-second query response time for BI-sized data. It scales to thousands of users in high concurrency. There's no data movement or extracts necessary. It has integration with BigQuery streaming for real-time analysis. It has a built-in integration with Data Studio today. So if you're using Data Studio today, or maybe your marketing teams are using it because they're leveraging various Google Ads products, it's super useful. And it also, allows you to have third-party integrations so that, depending on the products you use, it's really trying to make it more and more seamless for you. And for those of you that work with, GIS data, BQ GIS is now available so users can analyze and visualize geospatial data in BigQuery by using geography data types and standard SQL geography functions. So this has become super useful, especially if you're using geodata to help you with your app, your site, to serve your customers. If you need real-time information, it's incredibly powerful. And there's also native integrations with Sheets in BigQuery. So if you use G Suite today, and if your teams are using Google Sheets, it's just been made super easy because it makes it possible for all business stakeholders who are already familiar with spreadsheet tools, to get their own up-to-date insights whenever they need it. Like this integration really, puts power back into your business users and what I've seen personally is it reduces, time it would take for them to typically get the insights they need, especially if they requested a new feature from IT or needed to run different models. And we also have one-click data visualization and reporting from BigQuery into Data Studio. So this really helps you enable those faster time to insights. And it's a tight integration with the BigQuery UI, which really brings visual, exploration of your query results in one simple click. So the second piece here is we'll look at how we're breaking down data silos and how to gain faster time to insight by doing that. So first, we'll take a deep dive into, and I'll show you, this in a second, but Cloud Diffusion. It's a fully managed cloud native data integration service. So you have hundreds of out-of-the-box connectors, meaning this allows you to now easily ingest and integrate data from various existing sources and transform that data before analyzing it. So think of a source that you use today from a SQL Server or SAP HANA or Oracle. We're also announcing, you have the ability to use BigQuery data transfer service for SaaS applications. So if you go into the Google Cloud Marketplace, you can actually do a quick search on the SaaS application you're using today, and you'll be able to see all the connectors that are built using data transfer service. So think Salesforce, Marketo, Workday, and more. And, to make it easier for migration for traditional data warehouses that you may be using today, and if you're considering a hybrid or multi-cloud strategy, we have migration services available today so that you can at least help your teams accelerate, their time to market. So the first here is Cloud Data Fusion. So it's a fully managed code-free data integration service for building and managing data pipelines. It's hybrid and multi-cloud ready because it is open source at the core, which you may be familiar with, called CDAP. So it has a deep GCP integration, and collaboration and standardization through templates strengthens the engineering by creating a uniform way of getting tasks done. So think of it more as your code-free data integration service. It gives you complex pipelines with 0 lines of code. And the next here is Cloud Data Fusion. Oops, sorry about that. I think I need to load this.
Hey, Kimberly, I think we lost you for a few seconds. Was there anything else you need to mention before you move on to new subjects?
Oh, no, I'm just moving. I just want to make sure it's loading on my end, but I think we're okay.
Got it. I will tell you, in listening to all of this fantastic content and capabilities, I'm just trying to think, my God, if I was an end user, I'd have to have a whole army of developers, technical staff trying to provide some of this functionality. And, that's why we're seeing such great interest in the GCP solutions, because it is difficult to find these very sophisticated programs. It's hard to keep them employed, and that's why I see so many organizations taking advantage of these capabilities and the flexibility they offer. So if you do have some very sophisticated data scientists, you can develop custom apps. But just as importantly, if you have relatively few, if any, and lots of people are probably skilled, let's say, in programming your iPhone home screen, a lot of the same skills can be used to create very powerful data analytic platforms just for a reasonably savvy technology generalist or someone as part of the analysis team within the sales department.
Yeah, and that's really some really good points, because what we're trying to do here is show that you want to deliver simplicity to various users, right? So Cloud Data Fusion, for teams that can now self-serve, as opposed to having to line up for data engineering resources, you can serve yourself, right? And so for smaller companies who may not have all the resources of huge enterprises, this is super helpful. And for those who have data stored in multiple locations because of connectors, these connectors that you see here through Cloud Data Fusion are based on its open core, right? So open source functionality. And, even here to, take it a step further, when you think about breaking down some of the, some of the data silos that exist in your company today, right? So your business users may need data from, maybe their Google Ads products or their CRM systems or their various marketing automation, or perhaps you even use something else for inventory, product management, or even maybe if you're using Firebase for your app that you're building. This automated data transfer allows you to use BigQuery data transfer service seamlessly and bring that into BigQuery today. So it's a zero-code data transfer, and it means that you don't need to manage or maintain the pipeline to start analyzing your data. This is already created for you today. So the next here is how do we build a more responsive business, with things like stream analytics. And customers are spending, on real-time analytics more than ever before. If you think about it, there's IoT, clickstream, social media, mobile interaction, data have all been flooding the streaming data pipelines. So if we think about how some, real-time examples work, Google Cloud customers are using streaming data analytics to personalize things like online customer experience, predict real-time maintenance requirements in complex manufacturing systems, have a consistent view of the inventory positions based real-time point of sale, right? Transaction data, and even offering compelling mobile gaming experience to hundreds of thousands of players based on real-time gaming and user behavior data. So there are a lot of different use cases, and I would say that, I would take a step back and think about what are some of the use cases maybe your company has today and prioritize them. And then think about what data you need in order to solve it and start there. And obviously assemble the right team to think about who would be most useful to solve this type of problem. And a Google Cloud platform helps you from a technology standpoint is you have access to serverless and powerful streaming data analytics solution. So if you look at the ingestion piece, which is kind of that first step, you have things like Cloud PubSub, which is a simple, reliable, scalable messaging service. If you think about transformation of your data, data flow is a fully managed service for transforming and enriching data in stream and batch modes with equal reliability and expressiveness. So basically in real time and historical. And then you have the analysis part, which is analyze. And that's really BigQuery, where it lets you store and analyze real-time data streams. So you can also analyze streaming data sets with things like custom-built machine learning APIs or pre-trained machine learning APIs with equal ease. We also offer open source solutions, both in ingestion and transformation aspects of streaming. So making sure we deliver to each customer exactly what we, what may be important to you, and making sure that you're using the tools that your team's already comfortable with is super critical to like successful maybe ways in which you want to work with the platform. So we'll next look at the increasing the flexibility of things like Hadoop and Spark, which, leveraging Google Cloud's Data Proc and Cloud Composer. Because Google Cloud offers, open source technologies that are fast, secure, managed, and cost effective to get you started quickly. So if you look at the fast way, it could take seconds to minutes, not hours to weeks, speeding up development time. And if we look at security, you have customer managed encryption keys. And when we look at management, there's no infrastructure to manage, which enables more focus on analytics and business value. And when we think about cost effectiveness, you only pay for what you use. So it comes with all of your favorite OSS components. And Cloud Composer Workflow Orchestration Service is a fully managed workflow orchestration service that empowers users to author, to schedule, and monitor pipelines. So we have customers that are orchestrating workflows with Composer using Python for coding and graphs for monitoring, making the challenges of data processing significantly easier. And if we look at what the world looks like when you do more of a do-it-yourself on-premise kind of fully, like you have to manage everything yourself, hardware refreshes, and things like that, to a fully managed service, which you see all the way on the right. Data Proc, which is our, is one example of a fully managed open source service, Apache Spark and Apache Hadoop, where customers get an immense, they get immense benefits from this fully managed service, allowing them speed of development, scaling, and deployment. I mean, it also just puts more time back into your people, right? So you can focus on experimentation so that people can go back to working on things that can make your app better, compete more, right? Rather than putting out fires. And Data Proc also integrates easily, with other GCP services, making it easy for customers to process their data. So you can share data across the platform, you can match processing data, and you can monitor alert with things like Stackdriver. So it lets you identify and diagnose issues. Lastly, we're going to take a look at protecting and governing your data at scale. So what GCP provides is robust tools and technology to protect and govern the full data throughout the full data life cycle. So first is we offer built-in data protection at scale by default. So data is automatically encrypted while in transit and at rest. Secondly, we supply tools and technology to efficiently govern your data. So Cloud DLP helps you discover and classify sensitive data assets. Cloud IAM provides access control and visibility into security policies. And Data Catalog helps you discover and manage data. Thirdly, we support compliance requirements with third-party certs. And lastly, we believe that trust is created through transparency and provide tools like access transparency, which give you visibility into accesses by either support or engineering. So what is Data Catalog? This is a fully managed and scalable metadata management service So it empowers organizations, so it allows you to quickly discover, manage, and understand all of your data assets in Google Cloud. And as I mentioned earlier, it's built-in data governance with DLP and IAM. And our customers and regulators expect, obviously, independent verification of our security, privacy, and compliance. So Google undergoes, independent third-party audits on a regular basis to provide this assurance. And this means an independent auditor has examined, the controls present in our data centers, infrastructure, and operations. So our certs include the most widely recognizable, internationally accepted independent security standards, including ISO 27001, for security controls, to ISO 27017 for cloud security, and so on. So these certs help us meet the demands of industry standards such as CSA, STAR, PSI, DSS, and many other regional standards. So we continue to expand this list and list of our certifications globally to assist our customers, especially with your compliance obligations.
I think this is a really big deal, Kimberly, because as organizations are increasingly international, as you may have suppliers internationally, you may have outsourced some activity to countries outside of your jurisdiction, it's next to impossible to keep track of all these regulatory guidelines and reporting requirements. And so much like Google can eliminate a lot of the tedious tasks just getting a handle on your data, they can also eliminate the task involved in ensuring compliance, which is critically important for organizations of all sizes, once again allowing you as the end user to focus on the important things, which is, okay, I've got all this data, I now have an ability to process it and analyze it quickly, so what should I do to move my organization forward? That's where all these Google resources help people in their jobs and by default or by extension help their organization succeed.
Yeah, I think, if you're ever looking for ways to even get started, or if you just want to explore, what maybe your first step into using something like BigQuery could be, and maybe it could just start with using all the commercial data sets that you have available in BigQuery and using pre-built, machine learning models. I highly encourage everyone to go on our site. You get access to free credits to go and start testing it, because I think it could be, if you are thinking about your data journey, and if your company is thinking about your data journey with all the explosion of data that's happening today, I do encourage you to check it out and test some things out for yourself. And so I'll end with security, because it is so important. And Forrester Wave did their report, and Google scored the highest for its strategy among cloud providers for native security. So Google brings you end-to-end security with custom built layers, from infrastructure to endpoints. It's really derived from our own experience of protecting the billions of customers that use our services today. So think about every time you touch a Google product as a consumer, we've really taken all of those learning and put security at the forefront of Google Cloud Platform. And our privately managed network infrastructure, is one of the largest in the industry, and it ensures your information and applications are the least exposed to the public internet and its inherent risks. And on top of that, we offer VPC service controls that allow you to further define your own security perimeters around your GCP resources. So only Google Cloud offers cloud data loss prevention as an API, so Cloud DLP, that can be used in applications, which scans and redacts sensitive data before it is sent to the cloud. So through the Cloud DLP UI, users can easily automate data, schedules with features such as like inspection templates, inspection jobs, and triggers. So like, for example, users can easily select the types of data to be redacted from like, maybe it's SSN numbers to phone numbers from a drop-down menu rather than having to type in a line of code. So again, to go back to like resources, you just choose from a drop-down menu rather than needing to type in a line of code. And only Google offers encryption at rest by default. And so if we think about things like secure by design or data protection, it's really just within our DNA. And using things like, being able to let customers, can increase their level of control by, requiring explicit approvals. These are steps that we're putting in place so that you constantly are at a state of knowing that you're leveraging the best-in-class security from your device to a data center.
Now, Kimberly, as I look at this world map, I'm assuming all those blue lines are all dedicated Google fiber networks connecting from the western coast of the United States to the Asia and the Pacific Rim, and similarly on the east coast of the United States connecting to Europe and going down to South America. That's all your dedicated Google-controlled fiber connectivity literally around the world.
Correct. Yeah. And also, it shows you like all of our points of presence.
Wow, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that concludes the presentation today. If you do have any questions, do feel free to contact me. I'm happy to point you in the right direction. And I really appreciate everyone's time today. Ron, thank you for setting this up. I hope it was good use of everyone who's listening. It was good use of your time.
I think it was. Again, if you have questions, you've got Kimberly's email address here. You can also go to angelbeat.com. It's probably a little easier than going to google.com. But if you go to our AngelBeat website, contact us if you have any questions. The thing that I see both in my digital online interactions and at all live AngelBeat events is that the world is becoming increasingly data-centric. And everyone, whether or not you work in traditional areas of IT, whether or not you're involved in a lot of business activities, everyone's trying to figure out, how do I capture data correctly, how do I analyze data, and how do I use that information to move my organization ahead, to make my own personal skill sets more relevant to my employer. All these things are critically important, and I think the key thing that I will hopefully came across, actually I'm pretty sure it did, came across in Kimberly's talk, is that you don't need to have a PhD in data science. You don't need to know how to develop very sophisticated and complex algorithms. Fortunately, Google's got a lot of those PhD data scientists on its own staff. They've put together the right tools. They make it so easy so you can use serverless applications, use APIs to help you understand your data. And the other good thing, too, is that because of the way the GCP platform is set up, you don't need to be the world's biggest company to have a very sophisticated and world-class data analytics approach. You just set up your Google Cloud account, and you have exactly the same access to the same tools that any other organization has. And so this helps provide a level playing field where you, whether or not you're a small company or large, are all competing on equal footing. Did you have anything else you wanted to add, Kimberly?
No, that's all. Thank you so much for your time.
Great. Thank you all very much. We look forward to seeing you at a live AngelBeat event in the near future. Continue to go to our website for the latest digital updates. And thank you all very much for your time. I'm going to end the webinar now. Thanks again.